So I came up with this build that has over 10k life at level 85 with plenty of room to go. And the best part is, watch the barrier. And the best part is we get a barrier that's over 6k large, right? Right now it's at 5,700. We have plenty of room to go. I've seen it over 6,000. So all in all, that's a ton of life, and it has a lot of sustain, thanks to the pants of Temerity. The beauty of this build is you can not only tank anything, but the more mobs there are in an area, if you are in a giant room full of mobs, you get a much larger barrier. The more enemies, the higher the barrier, which is really, really good. So, and it works really nice. If you've never played a Diablo game, or if you've never played this type of game where you have to actively dodge enemy skills, the nice thing is you can tank just about anything. I'm a little bit lower energy, so today we're going to run something that's a little more comfortable, just to level up some glyphs. Alright, for this dungeon, we have while in combat, flames erupt near the player. Monsters deal an additional 20% of their physical damage as shadow, and monsters attack from a distance, disable healing potion. Welcome everybody. If you don't know me, I'm BearCozy. I came up with this build. Whoa, look at the zoom. I came up with this build so far, over 10,000 life, plenty of room to improve. The barrier is huge as well. I actually get over 6,000 barrier, so that's 16k right there. And I want to show off how this works, and then in the next few days I will make a build guide on how to actually do this, how to actually make this work. So right now I am leveling up glyphs. I'm just farming some comfortable dungeons, nothing too difficult. I just want to kind of do some brainless farming. I'm a little bit lower energy today. And that's primarily because I've been working really hard. I've been working out really hard as well. I'm dieting on top of that, and I'm taxing my nervous system fairly hard. Also, it's fairly hot. You'll hear the air conditioning running in the back. It shouldn't be too loud. I've checked it. It sounds like a fan. It shouldn't be too loud, but if you do hear it, I apologize. That's what it is. So right now, the bees, I actually don't like dungeons with bees, but as you can tell, check out the barrier. 2,300 right now, not too high. It gets much higher. The beauty of this build is you can not only tank anything, but the more mobs there are in an area, if you are in a giant room full of mobs, you get a much larger barrier. The more enemies, the higher the barrier, which is really, really good. So, and it works really nice. If you've never played a Diablo game, or if you've never played this type of game where you have to actively dodge enemy skills, the nice thing is you can tank just about anything. Let me figure out where I'm going here. I don't like these open areas with bees. Feels very bad to play. Bees, as you know, hurt a lot. Their damage is really, really high. But the good thing is this build is extremely sustain heavy, and you can tank anything. So, Exhibit A, as long as I don't get run over, there you go. I got run over and nothing happened. So I want to show you this. This is actually really nice. I'm just going to stand in some of the explosions just to show you how tanky this build is. Right now I'm actually getting blown up by the bees, but this is actually very, very nice. Most of the time, if there are plenty of enemies, the barrier is actually really, really high, and the nice thing is you can pop potions on top of that and overheal yourself for a much larger barrier. Travel to the Temple of Sight. So I wanted to run some of these dungeons, wanted to level up some glyphs. Right now I have a couple left over. And as you can tell, right now the barrier is not very big, but you could see I'm not taking very much damage, right? And especially if I stack barrier, if I know something's coming up. Let's say you're fighting in a dungeon that has blood blisters, and we all know how much those blood blisters hurt. And then all of a sudden, you're fighting enemies, and you go, oh my god, I don't have time to get to that blood blister. It's going to explode. It's going to kill me. With this build, you don't have to. All you do is pop a potion, and the barrier is automatically generated. And the nice thing is you don't have to run a barrier aspect, which frees up room for one more aspect. So right now I'm at 5,000. So, you know, between the barrier and the HP, I'm at over 15k, which is really, really nice. And this isn't even the tanky build. This is more of a speedrunning build. I'm a little bit lower energy right now because, actually, I was going to pop that shrine, but let's just continue. A little bit lower energy. I got, been working really hard. Work's pushing me a little too much, and I'm working out. I'm dieting, and, you know, I need a little bit of rest, but I still wanted to make this video. I had a couple of friends that wanted to know how to run this, and I wanted to make this video. I will make a full detailed guide right now if there's interest, which I'm sure there will be. But for today, while I'm putting everything together in the background, it does take time to put things together for things that you need. And different, I want to give you plenty of options. I want to give you skill options as well as different gear options as well, and different aspects that you can run. So this dungeon has a lot of range mobs. The beauty of this build is the more mobs there are close by, right? The more close enemies there are, the higher the barrier stacks. And this thing's absolutely, it's fantastic. I can't say enough about it. If you're like me or if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I like to face tank stuff. Not on purpose. That's just my playstyle. I like to be in the middle. I like to just have a good time. And the beauty of this build, you can literally just stand in stuff and whatever happens, happens, right? So if you're not used to actively dodging, or if you're not used to jumping out of stuff, you can just kind of, doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and grab the bloodstone if we can. The only reason my barrier is not over 6k right now is because there are a lot of ranged enemies. Other than that, everything would be, it's awesome. This build is absolutely awesome for those giant rooms full of enemies. Even works really well in crowd control rooms when you're getting either stunned a lot or frozen a lot or CC'd a lot. Works on snakes, works on a ton of different things. So right now I just wanted to have a little bit of fun. Wanted to talk to you, see how everybody was doing. And I do want to show you some skills that I'm running. I'm not going to do a full breakdown in this build, but I do have 2 glyphs right now that I leveled up. By the way, let me show you the paragons, show you what I'm running. So if we look at, let me kill a couple of mobs, and I want to just briefly show you the paragons. If you are interested, you can start building this or trying this out, especially if you're playing Rogue. You can start trying this out ahead of the video that I release. So right now, if you look at my paragons, this is a little bit different. This is something that I built over the last probably week. Board 1 here goes into board 2, Tricks of the Trade. We pick up critical strike damage, pick up a node here, combat glyph, and then we go into damage to elites. Board 2, going into, where's the legendary? Legendary, we're not using, no witnesses. Picking up 67% damage there. A lot of life there, a lot of extra life. What's going on? Nothing. So as you can see, my healing's going back up. I'm just standing. I can tank everything, and nothing really matters. So we're getting a lot of life over here. 27% extra life, which is really nice. And right now I have the efficacy glyph for extra HP and of course the extra damage. And then board 4, we're coming down to exploit weakness, working our way down to this glyph right here, and then we're going to go into board 5. That's going to take a little bit, but before we go into board 5, I'm going to pick up this healing right here. That'll help. So as I mentioned before, I got 2 glyphs right now. The efficacy glyph is 21. And the very first glyph and the very first paragon board is maxed out. Those are my 2 maxed out glyphs right now. There's a lot of range in this, so it takes a little bit. But right now, I am really enjoying rooms, large rooms, with enemies, especially when you get locked in. There's a ton of enemies, 6 or 7 elites, and it's very enjoyable because I can... Oh, here we go. It's only 3. I want some more. And I'm just going to stand in it just to get frozen, just to show you what's going on, because this thing can literally tank almost anything. I'm just going to stand in everything. And this is as tanky as it comes. I think it's fairly impressive. There might be more out there. I'm sure there's more. There's lots of room for improvement. But if I pop a potion and we get overhealed, it starts to go into the barrier because of the Pants of Temerity. So right now, there's still room to improve here. Effects that heal you beyond 100% life grant barrier up to 64%. I wish it was 80. The barrier would be higher, but that's okay. And then if you want to, if you know you're going into a giant fight, you pop a couple of potions. I'm just going to pick up the potion that's on the ground. And now all of a sudden, your barrier is climbing because you popped potions. So you can effectively overheal yourself, right? If you know you're about to go into a boss, or you're looking at a room and you're like, oh my gosh, this thing looks spicy. You can just pop a preemptive barrier. And that works out well, and you can use that anytime. All right, so I'm just running stuff that's comfortable. They're level 89. I'm in tier 35. I ran a couple of tier 40s, but because I'm tired, my brain is off. I just want to tank and spank. Essentially, level up some glyphs. I don't want to get to 100 and not have any glyphs leveled up. So I have 2 that are level 24 right now, or level 21. That's max level 21. And I'm working on the other 2. And then, of course, when we get down to board 5, I think I'm going to work on that one later. So this this build is very good, very enjoyable. Took me a long time to come up with this. Let me grab this stone here. If there's no enemies, I'll show you what I'm working with. I can't pick that up because there's fire on the ground. So here's what I'm working with for skill tree. I'm working with puncture. Fundamental puncture works out nice. Twisting blades ranks 9 out of 5, of course. Returning blades daze enemies, which is nice. Man, that thing hurts quite a bit. And then I got 3 points in sturdy, 3 points in siphoning strikes for the extra healing, which you can do. You don't need. Shadow step, dash. I really like dash. I got 3 points in weapon mastery, 3 points in concussive because of the daze, 1 point in trick attack, rapid gambit right there. And then over here I'm doing something a little bit funky. I'm using smoke grenade with a damage multiplier for, wow, that hurt, just standing there, with a damage multiplier for 20% extra damage, because we have an aspect that when we dash, it actually throws down grenades, smoke grenade when we dash. So right here's the boss, and we're just gonna go ham on it. He is you can essentially tank everything that he dishes out, and the faster we attack, the higher barrier we have. Didn't even mean to move out of that, but yeah, it just works out nice. If you're feeling tired, if you want to play something tanky, you don't want to run all over the place, this works really nice. So there we go. There's our barrier still there, which is really, really nice. All right, so that is one. I am collecting some sigils as well. I'm pretty full on. I just got rid of a bunch. I'm pretty full on them. I got some 40s. I got some 50s. So the glyph I'm working on right now, I have efficacy maxed to 21, which is helping with 125% bonus to rare nodes. There is room to improve. The only reason I got this one is because of the impugnment. There is another one that is right here. I could show you if I can find it. Fluidity. This one maxes out at 150 instead of 125. So if you wanted more HP, I don't know why you'd want it, but if you wanted more HP, you can get it. And then closer is the very first glyph in the Paragon tree, and that one is maxed out. This one is right here, and I am still working on the dexterity. I stole a bunch of dexterity out of here to essentially get down here to exploit weakness. And then as I get Paragons, I am working on focusing, getting some of this stuff back here. Let's go ahead and sell some of this stuff. We're going to hop into another 1 or 2 dungeons. I tried to not make these videos too long. I've been going between selling and I've been alternating between selling and breaking stuff down. For the most part, I am breaking things down. They go in the left-hand corner. And then we're going to continue just running more dungeons. All right, let's see. I got a 37. I want to run a 37. Monster attacks from a distance reduce armor, which is okay. Elites always have electric lance. The good thing is this build as well. I used to struggle with electrified obelisk, electric lance. Used to do so much damage I would almost die, especially when there were multiple elites. And now I don't have to worry about dying to electric lance. I don't have to worry about poison pools. And I really don't like this dungeon because of all the... it's a pain in the butt chasing all these guys around. They follow you, but then when you get close to them, they actually go away. Not to mention all the poison damage. Well, let's go ahead. There it goes. There it goes. Twisting Blades is doing work. By the way, you can run Flurry with this build as well. I am, over the next couple of days, I'm going to make a tutorial video on how to build this, how to make it work, different options for skills, and also different options for gear and aspects, and also things that are needed, things that are not needed, and things that are good to have in this build. So right now, monsters are level 91. It's going fairly good. I do want to kill some of these guys. They're just going to keep following me. They also, what do? Reduce armor? Yeah, they reduce armor up to like 60%. And of course, armor reduction affects everything. We take more damage. Armor reduction also increases our resistances the more armor we have. So with them reducing our armor, nice little cage heart there. Let's take a look. 73% critical strike damage, which is nice. By the way, I don't have that. The damage could be a lot higher. I do have this rapid band. I've been experimenting with different bands, and then if we want to push, I am using the immunity right here if I want to push really hard dungeons. So let's go ahead and switch this out. I'm going to actually use the Vicious Heart for more critical strike damage. That should give me more damage. Probably be a lot helpful. Wow, look at the poison damage there. It'll be a lot helpful for doing extra damage and doing some speed runs. Let's go ahead and dash out. One of the nice things is with this, if you are struggling, if you are stuck, you can actually run out, and then if you want to do extra damage, you can dash towards your target. It drops a smoke grenade, and then all of a sudden they take 20% more damage, and things just explode. So that works out well. And as I mentioned, you don't have to run Twisting Blades if you don't want to. Preseason, I ran Flurry. I liked Flurry. I still like it. But I wanted to try Twisting Blades because it gives you more mobility. And you can actually start off on one side of the enemies, dash over to the other side, and as the blades return, they damage everything in the path. So sometimes you don't have to be in the middle of everything with Flurry. And sometimes that's helpful when you are running around because of all the CC. Okay, this one's got to go back. I just picked one up. I'm carrying this one. Slow and steady, not too bad. Nothing worse than chasing range stuff around as melee, but this is going pretty good. The monsters are, as I mentioned, I'm not actually pushing. Monsters are, what, 91? I'm 85, so 6 levels feels very comfortable. I can do between 7 to 10 levels comfortable, and then anything over 10, I have to think a little bit more, have to be play a little bit smarter. I can't just stand in stuff because they are 10 levels higher. So we're just going to work on leveling up some glyphs. I'm missing a lot of damage because glyphs are not leveled up. And you can see I'm starting to take a lot of damage because of all the range. Plus this guy is shooting us back here, the corpse bows. They actually walk and they catch up. So you cannot get rid of everything. Can't just outrun stuff. But at least we don't have a shade chasing us. That would have been a lot worse. Alright, let's grab this channeling shrine. Don't really need it. This build also is not for pushing. There are a couple of things that we can tweak. A couple of very easy tweaks, as I've mentioned, on the ring. With the heart, with the I think it's a Vengeful Heart. Yep, Vicious Heart. So there is a tweak that we can do with the ring if we want to push higher. There's a couple of skills that we can change as well. If we wanted to like push a T50, which I have, I'm going to do a T50. Maybe not today. I'm feeling really tired today. It's my rest day. I got to get back to lifting next week. I got one rest day a week, which makes things challenging. So my energy is lower, but there are a few things we can do. We wanted to push, and I'll go over all of that in the next video when I make the video on how to run this build. But I am curious to see if you are liking this build, if you're interested, if it piqued your interest, because this is really, really nice. If you look at the barrier just, yeah, I mean, it's over 6K, so that's pretty good. My life went down a little bit because I did switch rings. Did I pick that up? I did. So my life went down a little bit, and naturally, because my life went down, the barrier went down, right? But we can also throw on, if we're looking to push, we can throw on this Brutal Heart with immunity, and that'll help a lot. A little bit less damage, but now we have immunity, a little bit more life. Look at that, right on the dot. More barrier as well. And then, of course, we got the immunity. So if we are pushing, we're going to need that. If we're not pushing, we can swap out different things. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I like to experiment. I like to try different things because I like to know how things work, why they work, and what makes things good. Sometimes you can actually try something that you didn't think would work, and you go, huh, wait a minute. Like the Shadow Imbuement and the Poison Trap, really loving those two together. Poison Trap has a 30% chance to reset Shadow Imbuement, which is nice. So what I'll actually do is I'll run in, I'll Shadow Imbue, I'll do Twisting Blades, I'll dash over to the other side, it'll drop a grenade, smoke bomb, and then I'll lay down a Poison Trap instantly. And sometimes that refreshes Shadow Imbuement, which allows me to essentially imbue and then do a bunch more damage. It also stuns enemies, which is really nice. It's good for crowd control. Plus, if we are pushing, there is a skill. We can go down the skill tree, and we can actually skill into, I don't want to stand here too long, we can actually skill into Deadly Venom, Toxins, and then the Alchemist Advantage. And that'll give us not only damage reduction from poison enemies, but it'll give us more critical strike rate as well, or crit chance. I have to look at the skill again, but that one's really, really nice. Who just pulled me over? So let's jump back in here, kill him. That's the nice thing is when we dash, we drop that smoke grenade, even though it's not on our active skill bar. I am using Poison Trap. I do have it in the skill tree, and the smoke grenade actually increases the damage that the enemies take by 20%. So sometimes what I'll do is if there's a bunch of enemies, I'll run past them, I'll Shadow Immune, just like this, and then I'll jump back in, and that allows me to do a ton more damage, 20% more damage instantly. And then once the first enemy explodes from the Shadow Imbuement, the rest of them, it does a bunch of damage to the rest of the enemies, and then the rest of them just explode. So it works out really, really nice. Took a little bit of time to find a groove. It takes time, like with anything else. But now that I found a groove, really enjoying Twisting Blades. Gonna get feared here, which is okay. We can probably Shadow Immune and then dash back in, drop that smoke grenade, and everything's just gonna go bye-bye. So nice and comfortable, just kind of slow and steady farming stuff. Enjoying. I am really enjoying the Rogue. If you've watched my other videos, I've died a bunch of times experimenting, trying different things. And, you know, I finally found something that works. And the thing is, I've actually tried a few different builds, endgame builds, but the issue I have found for me with endgame builds is they are for endgame. So when I've tried to talent my Paragons the way that Max Roll GG had, I always came up short. I was always missing like 30 or 40 Paragons, and I could not get the damage, or I couldn't get the sustainability because I wasn't max level. So then you end up missing a bunch of stuff. You're missing Paragons. You're missing certain rare nodes that you really need. So with the way that I built my Paragon tree, you can actually use this to level. All right, moving on. Collect Animus from... So I got... What? Oop, totally missed that. I'm surprised it's not glowing on the map. That's kind of funky if you miss it. Oh, there's one here and one there. Okay, so we got two left. Let's go ahead and Shadow Immune these guys. Poison Trap. Poison Trap? Okay, Poison Trap. There we go. Shadow Immune resets. Shadow Immune. He's dead. Let's grab that. I think this is it. This goes in a circle. There should be one left, and he's up top. So we're going to go up here somewhere. We can actually Shadow Step right into him, I think. The blades should come back if I pop them properly. And if not, we can always just dash through, and the blades take care of everything. All right, so by the way, there is nothing that is needed for this build. There's nothing that you 100% have to have. There are nice things to have, like the Frost Boots, which I don't have. I'm level 86. I don't have any Frost Boots. Feels bad. So I found a build. I made my own build that works without Frost Boots, without things that you absolutely have to have. All right. Let's go ahead and play around with this guy. He's about to get staggered, which is really nice. I'm going to put a Poison Trap down. Just going to tank that damage. I'm standing in the fire. Plus, he whacked me a few times pretty good, and we're still looking fantastic. So you could see this build is extremely tanky, and it works out really well. And I'm going to go to town, sell a bunch of stuff. So I think I'm going to continue running these. I also got a Paragon. I am working on my way to down here. This is Paragon Node 4 for me. This is what it looks like. This is zoomed out all the way. This is number 1. This is number 2. If you want to start early before I make the actual tutorial video, you can take a screenshot of this. Paragon 3 is going to be No Witnesses. Paragon 2 is Tricks of the Trade. Paragon board number 4 is Exploit Weakness. And then number 5 is going to be over here. I'd have to actually look at it. I forget what I have planned out. But since I still need about 17 Paragon points to get down here, we got time. We got time. So I am working on this. And this whole thing is primarily focused on prioritizing dexterity for the extra damage. And you can see it's coming along fairly well. We're not there yet. Still got ways to go, but we are prioritizing dexterity as we go. So that's going to do it for this video. I'm going to continue running dungeons, leveling my glyphs. I'm going to run like 37s or 40s. It's very, very comfortable for me. And then once I get a couple more glyphs up a little bit higher, we're going to run some 50 pluses. Stay tuned for that. And before we do that, most likely I will try to put together a full build video for this. So if you are interested, you can actually build this yourself. That's going to do it for me. Do me a huge favor. Help my channel grow by hitting the like and the subscribe. And also leave me a comment down below. Leave me a nice comment down below. I would greatly appreciate you doing those three things. And for more BearCozy videos, check out the top right.